Okay, so we're getting on to the characters in the movie. What did I think of the characters? So, I'll be honest with you, didn't really care. So, this again kind of harkens back to the story. The first part of the movie, where it's just Spike and his dad, was so good. It was so good. It was so scary. And again, it was before I knew where the movie was going to take a turn. I feel like watching this movie is like watching two different movies. The first movie is its own movie, and the second part is its own movie as well. And like the characters have a lot to do with that too. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really care that much for the mom. She didn't really make a memorable impression on me. I was more curious about what her illness was, and it turns out to be just kind of this big like cancer thing. Like again, she's got cancer. Um and I just really didn't care for the mom and son's dynamic. And honestly, I found the dynamic with the son and the dad much more interesting. Um, I am I was and this is gonna sound a little weird, and like people may disagree with me. People may say I'm a misogynist or something like that, but or I perpetuate toxic masculinity. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't know what the her was, but I really just wish it had been like a son and a dad story. Like I don't really like I said I don't care for the mom, but like specifically I was enjoying the crap out of myself in the theaters just watching this son and his dad or this dad and his son going through this hostile environment. Like and his dad being pretty much a pro at it and him teaching his son to how be able to take care of zombies, to be able to function under pressure and like all this stuff was really neat to see. I can't remember the last time I saw that in a movie. Like I'm going to be honest with you. How to Train Your Dragon's coming up, and I have not seen it yet. I mean, How to Train Your Dragon's already out. It's almost leaving theaters. I'm gonna hopefully go see it one of these days, coming up right here, so I can do a review on that too. I bumped the mic. Um, and like that is literally gonna be the last modern movie. And again, I don't really count that one because again, it's a remake of an older movie, a way more older movie. So I don't even count that one really. But like that's gonna be the next modern movie that's going to show a good dynamic between a father and his son. Like the 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 dynamic between a man and his son is very much a complex and very interesting dynamic, at least to me, in fiction, in real life, in anything. Just the same way, and it can be for anything, right? But like specifically with dads, there is somewhat of a I like dads are just complicated to begin with. Men are complicated to begin with, especially if coming from a woman's perspective. Even though I have a lot more in common with men, which is the reason why I cut them some slack sometimes. And like I just really wanted to see this dynamic between this guy and his son. I wanted to see more of that. I wanted to know what the son's reaction actually was, what his thoughts were to his dad cheating on his wife, like he was drunk at the time. He's getting really drunk. He's celebrating the son killing this zombie, which was once a person, I have to imagine. There's this whole celebration for it. And it's like that was a person once. So it's kind of this weird thing where it's like perpetuating violence almost in a way. And I wanted to see what Spike's perspective was on that. What he thought of his dad. And like there's no point in the movie where we really get to know Spike's perspective on how he actually feels about that. There's just this undertone of my dad's doing things wrong. He doesn't want to help my mom. He's cheating on her because she's sick. Blah blah blah. Like it's very uninteresting and very typical too. It's very much um moms are moms in movies can be great, but I feel like the thing that really ticks me off is that when it comes to um, a child with a mother relationship, it's that like moms in media are mostly like portrayed as like the softer parent, and that's because that's mostly true. Moms are a lot softer on their kids than their dads are, but that can also be a bad thing. So there's parent like child relationships are very complicated. And it can be for a mother and her son, and a mother and her daughter, or a father and his son, or a father and his daughter. But like, I just find it much more interesting to see like the dynamic between a son and his mother is much more softer. It's much more one that's like, yeah, no shit. The son is going to be like, I need to save my mom. Like it's that kind of energy, right? Where it's like, oh god, okay, it, yeah, you do. But and especially considering it was all for nothing. It was like because she dies at the end, so it's like, what are we doing here? Like I was enjoying myself watching a man teach his son how to survive in the woods, how to survive in this super hostile environment with these maniac virus-ridden creatures that could turn you into one of them with a scratch. Like that was like very intimidating. That was very like crazy to me, and like I really wanted this to be a I'm just going to say it. I wanted this to be a movie that focused on the son and father relationship, and it didn't go that way. The father was not only basically kind of written out of the movie once we get to the part where Spike takes his mom. We barely ever see him again except in the last part of the movie. And all he is doing is being like, "Where's my son? Spike, where are you?" And he wants his son back because of course he does. He loves his fucking son. And like we never see like his reaction to his wife being gone. We never see his reaction. Like, does he have regret for what he did? Does he regret like cheating on his wife? Does he regret hitting his son because his son like gets out of line a little bit, so he has to give him the old wacky. That was really cruel. I'm just kidding, but but like does he regret those things? I would imagine that he would, right? But we don't get that. We get this very flat um again typical idea like what how interesting would it be if he didn't regret it, right? If he like if Spike was like, you were cheating on her with that woman, I saw you with that woman, and he's like, yeah, well, your mother's basically dead, so why can't I have a new life after that, right? Like that's something that you could like be like you can experience, you can see the pain in the dad's eyes that his wife is dying, but like he also wants to live, he wants to experience life again, he wants to be free again, blah, 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 but, like, he does regret it or something. Like, the mom is just such a nothing burger character to me where it's just like, she's sick, and she's a good mom. That's all we get. That's literally the crux of her character. There's no complications, there's nothing about her that is very compelling. She had a good relationship with her dad, I guess. That's all we have. She had a good relationship with her dad because her dad was kind of a goofball. That's kind of all we get. And like she calls Spike her dad because like she sees her dad in him, and like that's basically it. She's sick. That's all. That's really all we get. And she's a supposedly good mom because she doesn't hit him. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like it's very um it's just I just didn't care for the mom and the son. Eric, moving away from that, so those are my thoughts on the three main characters we have: the dad, the son, and the mother. Spike was a okay character. He felt like a pretty generic kid character again, like him caring more for his mom than his dad, pretty typical. Him wanting to save his mom, pretty typical. Getting in over his head as a kid, being like, I can do it. I can take my mom to see this doctor guy, and he's gonna fix her, and everything's gonna be okay. Typical kid in a movie. But he wasn't annoying, and he wasn't like he was did a great acting as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned. He was the kid actor was a good actor, so that helps. And he wasn't overly emotional at times. He was very you can tell he's a kid that's grown up in a harsh environment. So that was really good, but like there's no he was okay. He was okay. I liked the dynamic of him with his dad better. I don't care for the dad as a character and on his own. It's just specifically the relation to him and his son as a dynamic that I cared about. And then we have Eric, which again, like I said before, comedy character, not really my favorite type of character. He was literally only introduced. He does nothing other than show Spike what the doctor actually does to people. Like, because there's this whole thing about the doctor, and I'll get to him in a minute too to talk about him in this section. But all he does is die. Like, all he does is be a comedic character, show that modern society still exists, which again, I don't like that. And then he dies. So, like, there's really nothing to his character. Again, he's just a nothing character. He's basically a dead weight character. So I didn't really care for him. And then the doctor. So the doctor was very underwhelming. He was a very um was like a very flashy kind of thing where it was like, "Oh, this is the doctor and he's weird." And like I just I just I just didn't like one thing I don't like in modern movies is the whole rev- uh what is it? Um Subvert the audience's expectations. That's what it's called. Subverting the audience expectations is something that has only happened very recently in media. And by recently, I mean in the past 6 to 10 years. But like this theme of like, you may think they're going to do one thing, but they actually do the other thing. Like, it's getting boring. Okay. It's getting boring. It's like when you did it in the first couple movies, sure, but like you got to stop doing this crap because this is exactly what happens to the doctor. So for context, when Spike asks his dad about what the doctor's actually like, he tells them a story about how he and another party that went to the mainland to gather supplies came across this doctor guy, and they saw him only from afar. You only get to see him from afar, and he has like lines of bodies. He's like he has these bunch of bodies, and I'm pretty sure this was in the trailer as well, just a split second of it. But like they're all lined up in they're lined up. They're not just thrown around. They're not in a pile. They're lined up. So they're like, and then he just waves them over, and he's just like, "Hey," and so they're like, "This guy's insane. This guy's just crazy." Um, and so it's like, okay, is this guy whack? Is this guy crazy? And then we find out he's just a nice old man. Like, there's not even a hint that he's like weird. So, what I thought this was going to do was like in the movie Predators, which like may seem like a TCAP like special kind of thing, but like in the movie Predators, it has Adrian Brody in it. It's one of the Predator sequels. And it has Lawrence Fishburne in it plays a character that I really like, and he's wacky. He's been on this island with the predators for far too long, this hunting grounds thing, and like he talks to an imaginary friend. He's like ambiguously gay, I guess, where he's just like kind of flirts with some of the other dudes, and like they're like, "What is up with this guy?" And he's very much weird. He's a wacky character. You can tell that he's like he actually has gone insane being on the island for too long. So that's where I thought this was gonna go. I thought this was gonna go like the doctor may be an actual doctor, but he is still weird, and maybe he wants something from Spike and his mom that's gonna create conflict. That never happens. There's nothing about him that at all that is weird. He is just a nice guy. He comes across them. In fact, he named even one of the alpha zombies that comes after him. He named him Samson. And he just comes up and is like, "Hey, like, hey, what's going on?" And they're just like, "Are you the doctor guy?" He's like, "I'm the doctor guy." And he takes them back to his bone sanctuary and he shows them what he does and why he does it, which is basically just this really nice tribute to those who have died, which is a beautiful thing. And like it's like, okay, so this guy is not weird. He's just a guy. He's just a normal dude that, in fact, is actually doing a pretty good thing. So it's like, what is there to. Why is this a character? And like, all he does is confirm that or diagnose Spike's mom with cancer and tells him that you have to let go and all this stuff, and he boils up her body and her skull, gives Spike her skull and tells him to find a good place for it, and that's it. That's all we get, and I kind of don't like it. I don't like the character that he plays. I'm a bit sick, so me talking so much is anyway, I'm getting my own rage virus. Um, but also I have written here in my notes, he undermined the scare factor too, and that is another thing that I really don't like. When it's one thing like this, it's like the horror in the movie like starts at a 10 and then goes down after that. So it goes like the first like couple minutes of the movie is like a 10, and then it goes to like a 7 with like the crawler zombies coming after the mom and everything, and they have to survive the store and everything. And then it goes to like uh, and then it goes to like a 3 when we get to the Samson, because the alpha zombie, he does chase them. Not only is the baby zombie not a zombie, but also, so it's not even scary, it's just a normal baby. But also, when the alpha zombie Samson comes after them for supposedly maybe taking his baby, because he kind of like looks at the female zombie and he kind of grabs her and is like, "What is this?" It might yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I have this whole section on the zombie baby thing. So, but like it gets to like a 3 and then to like a 1. By the time we get to the doctor guy, it's like a 1. So the doctor guy is covered in some goop or something like that, and he says that the virus doesn't like it, and he shoots the flute darts at the zombies, and it basically paralyzes them or something. But the dude is still just on the island. There's no walls. There's nothing. There's just literally just pillars of bones, his giant skull mountain, and then nothing. There's one part after the doctor kills his mom where it's like where he's like where they hide in like a little bunker underground. But even still, Samson kind of bursts in there. He basically grabs the doctor guy, and like Spike's able to put him out with more of the paralyzing stuff. But like it's really the doctor plot part of this movie really tones down the terrifying scares, because like we started this movie off with like the zombies standing up on this hill and like looking down at them with like, and then like the alpha zombie roaring and they take off after them, and there's this whole scary ass freaking scene through the woods and everything, and then in the house, and it's freaking awesome. And like, but then we have like the zombies, the doctor part. There's nothing. There's no zombies. The zombies cease after that. And like I'm going to imagine that like part of that is that there's not many zombies left on the island. Again, this is they contained what was left of the zombies, and like basically just watch the edges to make sure that there's no more outbreaks. So I got to imagine that there's not a whole lot of zombies running around, but the fact that the doctor guy is just living on the mainland all willy-nilly really takes down the scare factor for me. Um, where it's just like, not only can you paralyze these zombies, these horrifying alpha zombies that can tear a full-grown male deer's head off with its spine intact and nail it up on a tree, can just be stopped now with a little flute dart. Like, it's like, what? What are you talking about? Like, it's just it really did undermine the scare factor for me. So I have to put chops on that. I didn't really like the doctor character. I thought he was gonna be interesting, but he turned out to just be a very nice old man doctor guy that was very much, I don't know. He was just a nice guy, like, so that's basically it for characters. There's no really other characters other than that, other than I guess maybe the old man, but again, I don't even know what his role really was. Was he a caretaker? Was he a grandpa? Was he something? I have no idea. So that's basically it for characters, at least that I have written down here. Kind of underwhelming. I wish it just stayed with the son and the father. That's kind of my main thoughts on it.